The film is named Ningen, which means basically insan, human in English. And we wanted, of course, to make a film about what is a human, even though we don't want to be too much pretentious, of course. Like Orpheus and other examples we found in other culture, is all about why a human make the mistake at the end.
いやー、リーさんの生き方人間らしくていいな。
それは若い彼女がいっぱいいるからですよ。
ちょっと細すぎるな。藤田が大きくてもいいな。
そうやな。
そしてタヌキやな。
タヌキは会社の社長に化けんねん。
And as we said, we are traveling a lot in different countries and we are listening very much to people because this is the raw material where we are shaping our movie from. And we've noticed many similar stories. In Pakistan there were, I guess, in Turkey, in Japan, many similar stories where eventually the human make a mistake and tries to understand why he made this mistake.
それでは11月15日朝礼を始めます。おはようございます。まずは吉野社長、よろしくお願いいたします。
おはようございます。
So in Orpheus, he loves his wife so much that he accepts to go to underground to take her back. Basically, going to the underground, he can die. So would you be able to decide to die for the person you love? And this concept exists in every culture, even in Japan, on the West, and even in Middle East. You have those big love stories where the lovers are deciding to give up their life for the other one. So that was the universal thing about this movie. We want to gather all these things together and try to render through this mythological element what we are trying to do. We are going to countries where we are total foreigners and we are making those films. And the most important thing for us is what local people are thinking about that. When local people are saying, oh, we didn't notice you were foreigners, this is really the most rewarding thing we can have. I think it's due to the fact that we are using non-professional actors and we are not giving them scripts. So every time you are seeing an actor in our movie, basically he is somehow acting his own life and using his own sentences. That's why it becomes more real than whatever we could invent on the beginning.
We spend 80% of the time of the total movie with them prior to the shooting in advance, so that we know as much as possible them. We learn how to behave to them if we want to obtain this feeling or that reaction, and that is the most important thing in our work, or what comes before the shooting. Then the shooting, of course, is very hard, but it's like the cherry on the cake in our relationship with the people we are shooting or we decided to shoot.
どこで見てるんだ。
大丈夫？
Basically, we are doing with the cinematographer the same thing we are doing with the actors. We are telling him, okay, this is what we want to have, and please place your camera, and let's start. And then we decide, actually, if it was this one we wanted, or we want to change the frame. But as I told, for this film I also made the camera B, so we had some kind of a combination of our choices with the choices of the cinematographer. So it was a nice collaboration.
It is very important for us on this movie, as also for the previous one, but especially on this movie, to work exclusively with the Japanese crew. Like the only non-Japanese elements of the movie are Çağla and I. Everything else was Japanese, and with the DOP we also talked very much in advance. He had his own style, and we got inspired by his own style. If you watch our previous movie, Noor, it's not exactly the same style in terms of cinematography, at least. So we adapted ourselves to his style so that we look as much as possible local once again. though of course he also adapted himself. So we came to this middle point, rendering the story that we wanted to do, but using his capability of shooting with long shots, as you say, as much as possible, long takes also in the movie, and maybe it came also from him.
And all those distributors were saying, yeah, it's a very nice movie, it's fantastic, but it will be very hard for the audience. And then you are making like 3 screenings public and it's full. So all those distributors are talking in the name of this audience, even there at 9:30 a.m., and saying it will be hard for them, you know. And you can see in all those cinemas, it's basically exactly the same thing, cooked again and again and again, and they say the audience like it. That's not true. That's not true.
って言ったでしょ。そしたら社長はたくさんお金をくれますよ。
サンバなんですよ。ステップだって簡単だし。
Alegria, alegria. Na avenida traz a comunicação. Num gesto, uma emoção. Grito de carnaval. Revelando o homem uma missão. Desde a era neandertal de ser feliz. O sinal de fumaça.
We want basically to go back home, so to say. Especially, I mean, there have been many events in Turkey recently, and I think it's our duty somehow to think about what happened and what is still happening right now. It's also our will, even though nothing would have happened, I think it was our will to make this next
Anyway,
project.
we were trying to go back home. We were really abroad for a very long time, and also making films is about having distance to your own culture, and with all those previous films we made, we learned about ourselves a lot. So I think we are on the right moment to go back, and with this distance we have, to make a film that will really serve some causes.
Yeah, so basically our first feature that was in Cannes last year still has to be released in theaters. This one, Ningen, just starts its career, so we're gonna see how those 2 films will go, but in the meantime we'll settle down in Turkey and think about what we can do in the next years. I don't know how long it will take, because it's always very hard to obtain funds, and you know, the whole process of writing, developing, casting takes lots of time, but that's the goal, to make the next one in Anatolia.
誰なの？